Utah is officially a buyer's market. I'm going to share with you an article today that was just recently written in July of this year, talking about the top 200 largest markets and where they sit for inventory. So I'm going to jump into this. I'm going to show you the article, but I'm also going to show you the actual numbers that are happening with active listings, why they're saying it's a buyer's market. So let's get into it. So, this is the article that came out last week about some of the top markets in the nation that have now teetered over to being more favorable to home buyers. And many of the markets here in Utah, three of them are considered a top 200 largest housing market that are on this list. So, I want to show you what this article is stating. And I will put a link in the description so you can take a look at this article yourself as well. But they're looking at how many homes are now at pre-pandemic numbers. So this is really interesting because in January 2025, they're saying 41 of the 200 were pre-pandemic levels. February of 2025, 44, and you see it's continuing to go up. And I think it shows like a better table. You'll see a lot of these homes are kind of that southern area of the United States. You have a lot of Texas, a lot of Florida. You have some Tennessee, some Arizona. But you can see here, we have Ogden right here at 30% for June 2025 compared to June 2019 for active inventory. So our inventory is higher by 30% than it was in June of 2019. And then as you go down, Provo, Orem, Lehigh, we'll call that Utah County, is at 24%. And then we have Salt Lake City down here at 14%. Now, I also want to share with you some statistics from the MLS so you can really see what I'm talking about. Okay, so as I always say, July is historically a slow month in Utah. So I want to look at June 30th, year over year. And you can see on this report, now don't pay much attention to June 30th, 2024, because that was a Sunday and Sundays nothing is happening really. So for as far as the solds go, because nothing is selling on a Sunday. However, so you can see here on this report for active listings in June 30th, 2025, 33% higher amount of active listings than we had on June 30th of 2024. Now, again, that is a Sunday, but it's still a good idea for the active listings because active listings are active listings. Now, let's take a look. Then the last Friday of June 2024, very in line with what we saw on the other screen, being a weekend, you're still over 10,000 active listings in 2024, which is a 27% increase compared to 2023. So you can kind of see where I'm going with this, but look at these solds. That's a huge difference, 130%. But let's back it up. So here we are pre-pandemic, June 30th of 2019, which was a Monday, at 9,800 active listings. And then we are in the pandemic and it starts to drop 37%. And we're down to 6,100 active listings in 2020. Now, this is where the big shock happens. 2021, 3,000 active listings in the entire state of Utah in June of 2021. And then here we are in June of 2022 at 8,000. Look at that difference. Almost 161% more listings in 22 than 2021. So you can see by these numbers at our low in 2021, we were at about 3,000 active listings on June 30th. And in 2025, we are at over 13,000, which is the highest that we've seen since at least 2019. which that is exactly what this article is talking about. So I hope you found this information hopeful if you're a home buyer and helpful either way. If you're looking at making a real estate move, I'd love to connect with you. Shoot me a text or give me a call. That is the best way to reach me. But as always, make it a great day.